Students, now we are going to revise the chapter motion for the physics for examination point of view. In this chapter we have studied about the distance, displacement, velocity, speed, uniform, non-uniform, acceleration and the type of graphs. So we are going to revise these all the terms. First, what is a motion? Motion means when an object changes its position with respect to a reference point. Reference point means a fixed point with respect to which if another point is changes its position, then we say that this object is in motion. So this is the motion, and we say that the motion and the rest are the related terms. So why we call the motion and the rest are the related terms? Because in universe we know that all the things are revolving around, like planets are revolving around the sun and satellites are revolving around the planets. So the things are not stationary actually. If we are on the earth, this is the earth and this is the sun and this is the moon. The earth is revolving around the sun. Now if something is looking like in rest, like all the trees looks, they are stationary, they are not moving, they are not in motion, they are in rest. But with respect to the sun, the earth is revolving around this one. So the plant are not stationary actually, they are also in motion. It means rest and motion are the relative terms. So something which we say that it is in rest, it actually is not in rest. In universe we can say that it is not in rest, it is in motion with respect to the other planets or the sun. Okay, now the motion, the uniform and non-uniform motion. Uniform and non-uniform motion. Uniform motion. What is uniform motion? Uniform motion means if an object is to cover equal distance in equal interval of time. Okay, here direction is not mentioned, we don't mention the direction of the object. So this type of motion in which it cover equal distance, like it cover 5 meter in 1 second, in another 1 second it also cover the 5 meter, in another 1 second also cover the 5 meter. So it cover equal distance, equal interval of time, and this type of motion in which it cover equal distance, equal interval of time is called the uniform motion. So an object is said to be in uniform motion if it cover equal distance in equal interval of time. Okay, what is about the non-uniform motion? Non-uniform motion. Non-uniform motion means if an object cover unequal distance in equal interval of time. Suppose a body is moving with a initially in 1 second it covered the 5 meter, in another 1 second it covered the suppose 7 meter, in another 1 second it is covered the 6 meter. Now the distance cover in per second is not equal, so it cover unequal distance in equal interval of time, and this type of motion is called the non-uniform motion. Next one, the scalar and the vector quantity. What are the scalar and the vector quantity? Scalar and vector quantity. I'm not going to write here the definitions of all the terms, because we have already write all the definitions. We have already wrote all the definitions regarding these terms. So scalars and the vector quantity. Scalar quantity means the if any what can I say, if a physical quantity has only magnitude but no direction. Suppose in this part of motion I am saying here, it is covering it has the speed of 5 meter per second. Okay, now this is the quantity, this is the magnitude only, I am not representing the direction here. A scalar quantity means it has only magnitude, do not have any direction. If we mention only magnitude, not the direction, this type of physical quantities are called the scalar quantity. And what is about the vector quantity? The physical quantities which has direction as well as magnitude. It means suppose magnitude, suppose I'm going to say here, like an object is moving in the speed of 5 meter per second in direction, not direction. Now I am representing the magnitude, the 5 meter per second the speed, and the direction as well as. If a quantity is a physical quantity has magnitude as well as direction, then this type of physical quantity is called the vector quantity. So this is about the scalar and the vector quantity. Now what is about the distance and the displacement? Distance, actually what is the distance? Distance means the actual path covered by the body. Distance. I explained in last videos that what is the distance and what is the displacement. Suppose you start from here and you move randomly here and there and again, now you come to here, this point. This is the point A and this is the point B. Now after moving a distance, you are again at this point, not again, sorry, you are at this point B. Now the distance covered by the body is the actual path, actual distance covered by you. Suppose the distance, the length of this path is, suppose it is 2 meter. So it will be that the distance covered by you will be 2 meter. It means distance is a scalar quantity, don't have any direction. The actual path covered by the body is called the distance. A moving body cannot have the zero distance, because if a body is moving, it can cover some distance. Even if we start from here, from this point A, and after moving a circular path, it again come to this point A. Now this object cover the distance which is equal to the circumference of the circle. So the distance is equal to the circumference. So the bodies cover the distance that is equal to the circumference of the circle. Now distance means the actual path covered by the body. It cannot be zero. If you start from the same point and you again come back to this point, we can't say that the distance covered by you is zero. The distance covered will be circumference of the circle. So distance cannot be zero. Distance is a scalar quantity and it is the actual path covered by the distance. It cannot be negative, is always positive. Okay. Now the next term is displacement. Okay, I just forget to tell you about the SI unit. The SI unit of distance is meter. This is the SI unit of distance. Now what is about the displacement? Displacement. What is the displacement here? Displacement means the distance between the initial and the final position of the body is called the displacement. The shortest distance, it means the shortest distance. If you start from here and you move from this path and you come to this point B, now the shortest distance between the A and B is this one. This is the shortest distance. So we can say this is the displacement of the body. Displacement is the shortest distance covered by the body. Now here, in this case, when you are moving in a circular path and you after moving in a circular path, you come again to this point A. Now in this case, the displacement is zero, because the distance between the shortest distance between the initial and the final position is the same. So we can say the displacement is zero here. Now for the displacement, you have to mention the direction as well as the magnitude. So displacement is a vector quantity, whereas distance is a scalar quantity. It can be zero, even it can be negative. It can be negative. How it can be negative? You start from here and move in this direction. Suppose you are moving from A to B, 2 meter. This is the east direction. Now you turn back and you come to the point C, which is in the west direction. Suppose you move with the distance of 3 meter. If you are representing the AB, distance from A to B in positive direction, it means you are representing the east direction with a positive sign. Then you have to represent this opposite direction with the negative sign. So the total displacement of the body from A to C is -1 meter. It means displacement can be zero in this case, and it can be negative, or it can be positive. Here in this case, this is a positive quantity. So displacement is a vector quantity. It can be zero, it can be negative, it can be positive for a moving body. Okay, and the SI unit of the displacement is also meter. This is the SI unit of the displacement. Okay, there are some numericals based on the distance and the displacement. You can ask me on your WhatsApp group. Suppose I am going to explain here the fun example of NCERT book, which I have already explained you, I think, or I have given you in your worksheet. I don't remember it. Suppose a farmer is moving in a square path having a side of 10 meter. Okay, this is the side of the square. Now he start from here, and in for one round he takes 40 seconds for one round. Suppose he takes 40 seconds for one round. After 2 minutes and 20 seconds, what will be the distance and displacement of the farmer? After 2 minutes and 20 seconds, first we have to convert it into the seconds, like the 120 plus 20, that is 140 seconds. So what will be the final position of the farmer after 140 seconds? He start from here and move one round in 40 seconds, and again in a 2 round in 80 seconds, 3 round 120 seconds, and this half round in 20 seconds again. Or we can find the number of revolution by dividing the total time by the time taken by the farmer to move in a one round 40 seconds. It will be 3.5. It means in 2 minutes 20 seconds, or we can say in 140 seconds, it takes 3.5 round. If we start from here, from the point A, after 3.5 round, it will be, the farmer will be here. Okay. So what is the distance covered by him? You can find the perimeter of the square, that is 4 into 10. This is the perimeter of the square, 40 meter. And if you want to find the distance covered by him, you can find the you can multiply the number of revolution with the perimeter. This is the total distance covered by the farmer. And what is about the displacement? If you start from here and after 3.5 round, the farmer is here. Now the displacement is the shortest distance between these 2 points. It means this is the displacement. If you want to find the displacement of the farmer, you have to find the value of AC. And by using Pythagoras theorem, we can find the value of AC. In this triangle, we know that this is a right angle triangle, so we can use the Pythagoras theorem, that is AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. So AC square is equal to 10 square plus 10 square, it will be 100 plus 100, that is 200. So the length of the AC will be, by square root of this value we will find it 10 root 2, or we can say 1.41 multiplied with the 10, that is 14.4 meter. This is the displacement of the farmer. Or suppose if farmer is moving in a circular path, then how can you find the distance and displacement? Suppose again like this question, suppose the radius of the circle is r. It can be any value, it can be 10, 20, 100, anything it can be. So suppose the radius of the circle is r, and for taking one round he takes 40 seconds. In what 40 seconds he will take the 3.5 round? What will be the final position of the farmer? If we start from this point A, now he will be here at this point B after 3.5 revolution. So what is the distance covered by the farmer? Distance is equal to actual path. Actual path means circumference 2 pi r multiplied with the 3.5. 3.5 means the number of rounds. If you want to find the displacement of the body of the farmer, displacement of the farmer, then how can you find the displacement of the farmer? We can find the displacement by the finding the shortest distance between the A and B. This is AB, that is the diameter of the circle, that is 2r. So this is the displacement of the farmer. So for any questions, if you want to find the distance or displacement, you can use these two methods, or we can say these theories, for finding the distance and displacement. Now speed. Okay, speed. What is the speed? Speed means the distance covered by the body in per unit time. The distance covered by the body in per unit time. Unit time can be seconds, unit time can be minutes, it can be hours. So the distance covered by the body per unit time is called the speed. Distance upon time. This is the formula for the speed. We can measure the speed. The SI unit of speed is meter per second, but for the larger value we use the kilometer per hour. Here we should know how we can convert the meter per second into kilometer per hour, or kilometer per hour into meter per second. I have already explained you in last lectures, in last videos, that for converting the meter per second into kilometer per hour, you have to multiply it with the 18 upon 5. If you multiply meter per second with the 18 upon 5, it will convert into kilometer per hour. If you want to convert the kilometer per hour into meter per second, then you have to multiply with the 5 upon 18. Okay. So by this you can convert the kilometer per hour into meter per second. Okay, this is about the speed. Now the speed can be the uniform or can be uniform, non-uniform. Uniform speed means if a body cover equal distance in equal interval of time like the motion, this is called the uniform speed. Non-uniform speed like the non-uniform motion, when a body cover unequal distance in equal interval of time, it is called the non-uniform speed. And the next part is the average speed. Okay, what is the average speed? Average speed. No one going to ask you the definition of the average speed. Basically, you should know the definition. It can be asked, but we should know how to solve the numericals for the average speed. Means definition is also important. You should have the knowledge of what is the meaning of the average speed, but again you should know how to solve the numericals based on the average speed. The formula for the average speed is total distance upon total time. Total distance covered by the body in total time taken by the body to cover the distance is called the average speed. Average speed, we can't find the average speed by finding the value of the speed of the body. Suppose I'm going to explain. Here is the example. A bus is moving with a speed of 20 km/h. Oh, it's so small quantity, for the bus. Suppose a bus moving with a 20 km/h for I think 2 hours, and again its speed changes to 40 km/h for next 2 hours. If you want to find the average speed of the bus, so first you have to find the distance covered by the body. We know the formula, distance is equal to speed multiplied by the time. So for the first 2 hours we can find the distance covered by the body is equal to speed multiplied by the time, that is 20 into 2, that is 40 km. So in first 2 hours, time is 2 hours and the distance covered by the bus is 40 km. Again for the next 2 hours, the time is 2 hours and the distance covered by the bus is now 80 km. So if you want to find the average speed of the bus, it is equal to total distance, that is 40 plus 80 divided by the total time, that is 2 plus 2. So by this calculation you can find the average speed of the bus. Okay, so for finding the average speed you should know the distance, total distance covered by the body, and again you have to find the you should know the total time taken by the body to cover the distance. This is the average speed. Now what is the velocity? Okay, again speed is a scalar quantity. It don't have any direction, it has only magnitude, the value, it has only the value but don't have any direction. And what is about the velocity? Velocity is a vector quantity which has magnitude as well as direction. It means if you want to represent the velocity of a body, you have to say about the speed as well as about the direction of the body. So it will be the velocity of the body. Velocity means the displacement. The displacement is scalar quantity. Sorry, is the vector quantity. Really sorry for that. Since displacement is a vector quantity and we represent the velocity by the displacement upon time, so we can say the velocity is also a vector quantity. We represent the vector quantity by using this type of symbol like the arrow on the symbol of that physical quantity. Velocity is equal to displacement upon time. Basically for displacement we use the term s, we use the symbol s upon the time. Okay, so this is the velocity. Velocity is a vector quantity. Just like distance and displacement, there is some difference between the speed and the velocity. For example, body start from here and move in a circular path and come to this point, again this point A. Now since we know that it has a displacement 0, so the velocity of the object is also 0. Since it is moving but its velocity is 0. Why? Because the initial and the final position is the same, so the displacement is 0, so the velocity will also 0. And for this example, we can find the velocity by using the displacement upon the time. Velocity can be 0, it means it can be 0, it can be positive. Suppose something is moving in this direction and if we want to find the velocity of the body, it will be positive. Suppose like this example, Suppose the body start from here and come to this point B, which is representing by a positive sign, and again it come to the point C, which is represented by the negative sign. So the displacement is negative here, the velocity will also negative. So velocity of a body can be 0, can be positive, can be negative. And velocity is a vector quantity. And what is about, okay, this is about the velocity. Velocity, velocity, the SI unit of velocity is meter per second. For bigger units, we can use the kilometer per hour, but velocity has the SI unit, that is the meter per second. Okay. Now the uniform, non-uniform velocity. Uniform velocity. Oh, it should be understand. It should be very clear to you. That is, what is a uniform velocity? Uniform velocity is when a body is moving in a straight line. It means its direction cannot be changed for the uniform velocity. Its direction should remain the constant. Suppose a body is moving in a straight line and it cover equal distance in equal interval of time. Or we can say, if we are not using the term direction, we can say the equal displacement in equal interval of time. And this type of velocity is called the uniform velocity. And what is about the non-uniform velocity? Non-uniform velocity. Uniform velocity can have the three cases. What are these? First, if a body cover unequal distance in equivalent of time. Suppose it is moving a straight line, but cover 2 meter in 1 second, then again 3 meter in 1 second, again 5 meter in 1 second. So it cover unequal distance in equivalent of time. It has a non-uniform velocity. Suppose a body cover equal distance in equivalent of time, but its direction is continuously changes. Suppose in a circular path, if it is moving with the speed of 2 meter per second, at any point we can say the direction of the body changes. Okay, this is direction of the body. So this type of velocity is also non-uniform velocity because the direction is changes, though it has same the value of speed, but its direction is continuously same changes, so we can say it has a non-uniform velocity. And the third case, if a body is moving unequal distance in equal interval of time, and again direction is also changes, so this can be also the non-uniform velocity. So this is about the non-uniform and uniform velocity. And the average velocity. What is the average velocity? Average velocity means the total displacement upon time. Total displacement upon average velocity. Total displacement upon total time. Sorry, L. Total displacement upon total time, or we can find it by using the formula initial velocity plus final velocity divided by 2. This is the formula in mathematics even for finding the value of mean or the average. So this is the average velocity. We can also write the differences between the velocity and the speed. Okay. Now, here's an important term, that is the acceleration. This is the most important topic of the chapter. Acceleration. We represent the acceleration by using the symbol A. Okay, again I want to tell you one thing, that if a body start from any initial velocity of a body, initially it was moving with the velocity of 2 meter per second, so we represent the initial velocity by using the symbol u. And for the final velocity, suppose after 5 second velocity changes to 10 meter per second, so we can say the v is the final velocity, which we represent by using the symbol v, that is 10 meter per second according to my question. So u is the initial velocity and v is the final velocity. Okay. Now the acceleration, for the acceleration we use the symbol small a. Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. Means what is the rate at which your velocity changes. Suppose you are traveling with a velocity of 2 meter per second, and after 1 second your velocity changes to 4 meter per second. After again 1 second, your velocity changes to 6 meter per second. Now here in this case, in 1 second, you are going to change your speed, your velocity by 2 meter per second. Okay. In 1 second, you are going to change your speed by, so sorry, not the speed, the velocity by 2 meter per second. So acceleration is 2 meter per second square. Acceleration means the rate of change of velocity. The formula for the acceleration is equal to v minus u upon t, where v is the final velocity, u is the initial velocity, and t is the time taken by the body, a moving body, to change the velocity. Okay, the acceleration has the SI unit is equal to meter per second square. This is the SI unit of acceleration. Acceleration can be positive, it can be negative. Suppose a body is moving and its velocity going to increases. If its velocity going to increases, then acceleration will be positive, because you are going to subtract the initial velocity from the final velocity. It has less initial value, initial velocity, and final velocity is higher than this value. Then if you are going to subtract these values, you will find the value positive. So acceleration can be positive. Suppose a body is moving with a higher velocity and its velocity going to decreases. Suppose its velocity changes to 0 meter per second. Now in this case, the velocity is going to decreases. So the final velocity is less than the initial velocity. In this case, the acceleration will be negative. So acceleration can be positive, it can be negative. For the negative acceleration, we use the term retardation. Retardation is negative acceleration, is called the retardation. If we use the term retardation, we don't use our sign negative. Retardation means the negative sign is already included in this term retardation. Now the zero acceleration can be zero. How the body can have the zero acceleration? If its velocity not going to changes. Initially it was moving with a velocity of 10 meter per second. After 10 second, velocity is again 10 meter per second. Now in this case, the velocity is not going to changes. So if initial and final velocity are the same, so we can say that the body has a zero acceleration. And just like the motion, speed and velocity, acceleration can be uniform and can be non-uniform. Uniform acceleration and non-uniform acceleration. First of all, uniform acceleration. If an object is going to change its velocity equally in equal interval of time, not the distance here, now here is the velocity. Equal change in velocity. Again अब समझो यहाँ डिस्टेंस नहीं है, यहाँ पे वेलोसिटी चेंजेस है. बच्चे बहुत कंफ्यूज होते हैं, वो यूनिफॉर्म वेलोसिटी में भी इक्वल डिस्टेंस लिख देते हैं, इक्वल डिस्टेंस इक्वल इंटरवल टाइम, और यूनिफॉर्म एक्सेलरेशन में भी. बल्कि यूनिफॉर्म एक्सेलरेशन में क्या होता है? इक्वल चेंज इन वेलोसिटी. Here in this example, first the object is moving with the velocity of 2 meter per second. In 1 second, again 4 meter per second. In 1 second, 8 meter per second. In another 1 second, 8 meter per second. So its velocity changes equally in equal interval of time. And this type of velocity, this type of acceleration is called the uniform acceleration. And what is about the non-uniform acceleration? Non-uniform acceleration. Non-uniform acceleration means a body changes its velocity unequally. Suppose it was moving with a speed of 2 meter per second. After 1 second, speed changes to 5 meter per second. Again, after 1 second, speed changes to now it can be 10 meter per second. Now its speed changes unequally. First it changes 3 meter per second. Again it changes 5 meter per second here. So if a body changes unequally, if a body changes its speed unequally, sorry, not the speed, the velocity. If a body changes its velocity unequally in equal interval of time, we can say the body has a non-uniform acceleration. Okay, is it clear? Now, for a falling object, if a body is fall from the height, some height, its velocity increases equally. Its velocity changes equally. Sorry, not increases. We can say increases also. Its velocity increases or changes equally because this acceleration is produced by the earth on this object. So this type of motion is also a non-uniform accelerated motion. So this is about the acceleration. There are some numericals which are based on the velocity, acceleration, speed, average speed. Lots of numerical here in this chapter, also in NCERT book. So you can ask me in your WhatsApp group if you have any problem in the numericals. Now I'm going to explain you some derivations of equation of motion. There are three equation of motion. First is V is equal to U plus AT. Second is equal to S is equal to UT plus half AT square. And third one is a V square is equal to U square plus 2S. These are the three equation of motion. First of all, we should always know that what are these symbols represent. Like the V is the final velocity, U is the initial velocity, A is the acceleration, T is the time. Here S is a displacement, or in general language we use a distance here for this, distance here. Okay, first you should know some points for the numericals, that if we drop some object from the height, it means it has an initial velocity is equal to 0. If here is writing that in question that a body start from rest, means its initial velocity is 0. If we throw something in upward direction, then its final velocity after attaining the maximum height, जब यहाँ तक पहुँचेगा maximum height तक, तो its final velocity will be 0. Or if we apply the brake and a body stop after traveling some distance, then we say that its final velocity is 0. So these points all should always be clear to you. If we drop something from the height, the acceleration is produced due to the earth, which is a constant value. It is equal to 9.8 meter per second, or it can be given in the question that is equal to the 10 meter per second. If we throw something in upward direction, then this g will be negative, because we can think ना कि कोई चीज ऊपर फेंकोगे तो velocity कम होगी, decrease होगी, तो acceleration कैसा होगा, negative होगा, it will be retardation. Now there is some derivations for the equation of motion. These derivations are really so important. Third and second derivations are really so important, and for those two equation of motion, for those derivations, we have to derive the first equation of motion. Okay, there are two type of graphs, that is a dt and the vt graph. This is a dt graph, and again I will explain vt graph. Dt graph, if dt graph is like this, it means the body is not changes its position, it means the body is at rest. Okay, suppose this graph is like this, dt graph, it means the body is covered equal distance, equal interval of time, and we say that the body has a uniform motion. And with this graph is like this can be like this, or this can be like this, so we will say that it has a non-uniform motion. Okay, this is about the dt graph. If you want to find the velocity from the dt graph, you should always remember it that distance is represented in y-axis and we represent the time in the x-axis. If you want to find the speed of a moving object from the dt graph, you have to find the slope of the graph. And I explained you in last lectures what is the slope of the graph. If you have any problem, you can again see your lectures in which I explained the graph only. So if you want to find the slope of the graph, this is the perpendicular upon the base. We have to find this perpendicular distance, that is the BC, upon this distance, that is the AC, for finding the speed of the graph. So if you want to find the speed of the graph by using the dt graph, we can if you want to find the speed of the object by using the dt graph, you have to find the slope of the graph, that is the perpendicular upon base. Now what is about the vt graph? For vt graph, we represent the velocity on the y-axis and time on the x-axis. If this graph is like this, it means its velocity is not going to change. Suppose this velocity is 8 meter per second. Not just in 1 second speed is same, in 2 seconds, 10 seconds also speed is 8 meter per second. So its velocity is not changes. So we can say it has a uniform velocity, or we can say it has a zero acceleration. This is very important. Zero acceleration, because its velocity is not going to changes, so it has a zero acceleration. And if we represent a vt graph like this, it means its velocity increases equally in equal interval of time. It means it has a uniform acceleration. Okay, or if this graph is like this is the vt graph, and this is like this, it means the velocity is decreases equally in equal interval of time. It means it has a uniform retardation. Okay, and if this graph is like this, any curve, it can be like this, it can be like this, or it can be like this. So if this graph is like this, any curve, so we say it has a non-uniform acceleration. Okay, it is the acceleration, not the velocity. Non-uniform retardation, uniform acceleration. Here in this case acceleration is 0, but it has a uniform velocity. This is about the vt and dt graph. Now there are some derivations, these three equation of motion we can derive by using these graphs. That is the VT graph. We can use the VT graph for derivations of three equation of motion. Suppose the body start from here, this point, and initially it has a velocity of u initially, and after t seconds, I explained you that for every derivation you should always represent all the symbols that what these symbols are representing. You should always write here. So after t seconds, its velocity changes to v. Okay, this is the position A and this is the position B. If you have any problem, you can again see your videos which have only graphs, or you can ask me on your WhatsApp group. So this is the initial velocity of the body, and after t seconds velocity changes to v. We know that for finding the acceleration, okay, I don't explain to you how can you find the acceleration from VT graph. You have to find the slope like this. If you want to find the acceleration from the graph, you have to find the slope of the graph. So if you want to find the acceleration from A to B, you have to find the slope, and which is equal to the perpendicular distance upon this base, perpendicular upon this base. So if you want to acceleration, you want to find the acceleration of this object, you have to find the distance upon, my goodness, you have to find the perpendicular upon base. Perpendicular, how much? This length is v minus u. Upon this distance is t. मुझे पता है मैं बहुत तेजी के साथ बता रही हूँ, बिकॉज वी आर गोइंग टू रिवाइज ओनली. इफ यू हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम, यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द points which I am going to explain you, you can again see your videos which I have already which I have already given you in your class, which are based only on these graphs. So acceleration is equal to perpendicular upon base v minus u upon t. By cross multiplication we will find at is equal to v minus u, v is equal to u plus at. This is the first equation of motion. For second and third derivation, you have to write these derivation. The first derivation, we can write here the equation 1. One thing, you have to write all the terms which are using here. You have to mention all the terms, like v is the final velocity, u is the initial velocity, t is the time taken by the body, a is the acceleration, distance covered by the body is s. So you have to mention all the terms which are using in these equations. Okay, for the second derivation, we have to find the distance. For any VT graph, if you want to find the distance covered by the body, you have to find the area of the body, area of the portion. Like you have to find the distance covered by the body from A to B. You have to find the area of this portion. अगेन, अगर आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम हो रही है और आपको ये चीज़ समझ में नहीं आ रही है, कि मैं बहुत तेज़ी से बता रही हूँ, बिकॉज ये हमारा रिवीजन है, हम पहले सबको पढ़ चुके हैं. सो आप जाके पुरानी वीडियोस देख सकते हैं और उससे समझ सकते हैं. So for the second derivation, we have to find the distance covered by the body from A to B. For finding the distance, we will find the area of this figure. Area means the area of this figure, this portion. और area के लिए आप क्या करते हो? For the second derivation, you find the area of this triangle plus this rectangle. तो displacement is equal to area of the triangle. This is the triangle. Area कितना होगा? 1/2 into base. Base is how much? AC, that is T. And the height BC, that is equal to V minus U, plus area of this triangle plus area of this triangle, that is the length multiplied with the breadth, that is T multiplied with the U. So S is equal to UT plus half. Now in place of value V minus U, we can write AT from the first equation of motion. So I am writing here AT in place of V minus U into T into AT. So we will find that half AT square plus UT. It means S is equal to UT plus half AT square. मैंने उल्टा करके लिख दिया. Doesn't matter. For the third derivation, if you want to find the third derivation, you have to do the first derivation and you have to write all the points which represent A, what is represent V, U, A, T and S. For the third derivation, you have to find the area of the trapezium. This trapezium area you have to find for the distance covered by the body is the area of the trapezium. Okay, you have to remember, अगर आपको सेकंड डेरिवेशन करना है तो आप यूज करते हो ट्रायंगल प्लस रेक्टेंगल, और आपको थर्ड डेरिवेशन करना है तो आप यूज करते हो ट्रेपेजियम. अगर आप ऐसा नहीं भी करोगे तो बहुत मुश्किलों से आपका आंसर तभी भी आ जाएगा, बट फॉर इजी कन्विंस के लिए, अब कन्वीनियंट के लिए अपना क्या कर सकते हैं, इसको हम थर्ड डेरिवेशन के लिए ट्रेपेजियम यूज करते हैं, सेकंड डेरिवेशन के लिए ट्रायंगल प्लस रेक्टेंगल यूज करते हैं. ओके, वी नो दैट द एरिया ऑफ ट्रेपेजियम इज इक्वल टू 1/2 into height. What is the height here for this trapezium? These are the parallel sides and this is the height into t, and sum of the parallel side, that is u plus v. U plus v. Now I'm going to displace the value of t from first equation. Here t will be v minus u upon a. So I'm writing here v minus u upon a into u plus v. S is equal to half into formula v minus u into v plus u will be v square minus u square, मैथमेटिक्स अपॉन a. क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई में 2a को लेके जा सकते हैं आप, आपको मिलेगा 2as is equal to v square minus u square, and v square is equal to u square plus 2as. This is the third derivation. Okay, these are the derivations, these are very important derivations, and there are lots of numericals which are based on these equations of motion. Okay, I think I should explain one or two questions of numericals. One simple question, one simple numerical. Simple numerical. Again, I am telling you, if you have any problem in numericals, you can do your worksheets, you can see your videos. If you have any problem, you can ask me on your WhatsApp group. You can even message on my personal number if you have any problem regarding the chapter. So suppose the initial velocity of the car, suppose okay, question is this: find the initial velocity of a car. You have to find the initial velocity. It means you have to find the u here, which is stop in 4 seconds. Stop means v is equal to 0. In 4 seconds means time is 4 seconds here. By applying the brakes, find the retardation, or we can say what is the acceleration. Okay, you have to find the initial velocity of the car if the retardation is equal to 5 meter per second square. Retardation means negative acceleration. So these are the value which is given in this question, and we have to find the value of u. So first we have to solve which equation of motion we can use for this question. For this question, we are using the first equation of motion. Here we know the value of v, a and t, so we can find the value of u. V is equal to u plus a multiplied with the t. So 0 is equal to u minus 20, then u will be 20 meter per second. So these type of numericals are there in this chapter. Now again, I think I cover all the portion. Graphs I have already explained you, and how can you find the velocity of acceleration, even the distance from the VT graph, and how can you find the velocity of the graph by using the DT graph. Okay, now the uniform circular motion, the last topic of this chapter, the uniform circular motion. Uniform circular motion means if a body is moving in a circular path with a uniform speed, its speed is constant. Suppose it is moving with 100 km per hour. Since its speed is not changes, but the velocity of a body is changes. How? Because the direction continuously changes. At this point, direction is this one. At this point, the direction is this one. At this point, direction is this one. So it has a non-uniform velocity. If a body has a non-uniform velocity, then we can say that it has a accelerated motion. A uniform circular motion is a accelerated motion, and there's a numericals I have already explained you in initial part of this video. Okay, this is all about the chapter, or if you have any problem, please you can ask me on your group. Okay, bye.